Before the sentence is even announced, the courtroom hears words no judge should ever have to say out loud. This is not just about a gun. Not just about prison time. This case exposes a pattern of behavior so disturbing that it forces the court to draw a hard line between excuses and responsibility. The judge begins with clear frustration. She says the number of times she has to say this out loud is disturbing. She tells the court that intentionally masturbating in front of Officer Sis unacceptable and repeated behavior. Then the case formally begins. Good morning. You are Denzel Lewis. Mr. Lewis had previously come before the court and pleaded guilty to a third-degree felony, unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon. There was an agreement in place, a 6-year prison cap. The judge confirms she has reviewed the pre-sentence investigation report.
Has everyone had an opportunity to review that report?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Are there any additions or corrections?
Just argument from the defense.
In addition, I have received the jail incident reports, which have been turned over to counsel. Have you both had an opportunity to review those?
I have.
Also, I have received this morning and now reviewed, it looks like 4 letters of support that Ms. Holmes brought today. Mr. Smith, have you had an opportunity to review those as well? All right, then Ms. Holmes, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. In looking at the PSI report, Mr. Lewis does have obviously previous criminal history spanning from juvenile and to adulthood. The priors that he has, it appears, with burglary of a habitation. It looks like 3 cases, but they ran concurrently, in which he was placed on probation and had a revocation, in which he was sentenced to 8 years in TDC. He has since been discharged from that, Your Honor, and after being released, there was this traffic stop, which resulted in a firearm being found in the vehicle in which Mr. Lewis was driving. Obviously, in reading his response to the PSI officer, I would allow him to elaborate more on that. Obviously, he did plead guilty to the offense, taking responsibility, and we are seeking probation in this case, Your Honor. We believe that at this point in Mr. Lewis's life, he understands, obviously, being incarcerated before, that it's not somewhere that he wants to go back and spend potentially 6 additional years of his life. He would like this opportunity on probation to have that opportunity to spend and get back on track with employment, to take care of his family and provide for his family. And reading those support letters, Your Honor, he does have support here from family and friends in the community that are willing to step up and help him to make sure that he is a productive citizen and he gets back on track and understands that there's just certain things with being a convicted felon that he cannot do. And I think at this point he understands that, Your Honor, and we are asking that the court give him the opportunity to be placed on probation and to finish it.
Before moving forward, the judge pauses. She says she wants to be sure she understands Mr. Lewis's version of events. According to him, the gun was not his. He claims it was inside his girlfriend's purse. He says he didn't even know the purse was in the car, let alone the gun inside it. The judge is firm. Either the gun was yours, or it wasn't. You are either guilty, or you are not. The court will not accept confusion after a guilty plea.
If you knew about it, then you're guilty. If you didn't, then a jury needs to decide.
I'm pleading guilty because I was driving the car, and by me driving and then finding the gun,
But the law, that's not what the law is.
Yes, ma'am, I
Okay?
understand.
So you don't get to just take a deal or plead guilty because that's what you want to do. When you were here before, you stood in front of that clerk, you put your hand up, swore that you were going to tell the truth, and I said, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily, or are you pleading guilty because you did what they charged you with?
And I was, and I still am.
Okay. All right, Mr. Smith?
Judge, I think he's been given probation before. It was not successful. He's been revoked. The actions in the jail clearly show he doesn't have any respect for authority or rules. I don't feel like he's a proper candidate for probation, so we're asking for a 6-year sentence in TDC.
So Mr. Lewis, one thing I noticed in several of these letters that friends and family members said, I think 3 of them actually used the word respectful, that you're a respectful young man. What has been going on in our jail is the furthest thing from respectful that I've seen. The number of times, and the fact that I have to say this out loud, the number of times that you choose to masturbate in front of the officers on purpose is ridiculous.
Can I speak on the,
Sure.
that case wasn't on me. Somebody else had a case, and the woman even talked to the lieutenant to get it removed up off of my file, but it still shows up. That was not on me. It's somebody else.
It's more than one time. So hold on. So on April 14th, let's just go through them. On April 14th, you were in trouble for not being in your bunk, that you had been given several orders to go to your bunk. You proceeded to walk around yelling, "Bitch, stop talking to me." So that's from April 14th, last week. Then on April 7th, it alleges that
The judge then reads directly from the report. It states that Mr. Lewis had his hands in his pants, moving them back and forth. He was told by Officer Stowe remove his hands. The report also states that officers had been warned beforehand that Mr. Lewis was known for this behavior. His response is noted in the report, a comment that only deepened the seriousness of the situation. The courtroom grows tense. The pattern becomes clear.
penis, I'm not, anyway. Since they want to be talking about you, they should have told them about that too. Then, on March 25th, before that, a week, so another officer, and these aren't the same officers, it's not the same person saying the same thing about you, somebody has some vendetta against you. So on March 25th, started to do rounds. Notice that you were watching the person doing rounds. Had his hand over his midsection as if he was rubbing on himself. March 18th, another different officer. Notice monitoring the bunk. There you are, laying on your back, stroking your penis in a back and forth motion, told not to do so. January 24th, 2025, you're in trouble for walking around. This one, notice the way you're laying on your bunk in a way, making motions under the blanket, walked past, turned around to see if you were still doing it. Then you supposedly look at this officer and say, "I'm not doing anything," while you lifted the blanket up for that officer to see it. January 4th, another time, being told to be quiet, do what you're supposed to do, didn't do it that day. December 29th, another issue of not following the rules. December 17th, another infraction for arguing and not following the rules. So if there was one time when they got the wrong person, that's one thing. That's over and over again, you disrespecting female officers who are in there just doing their job.
I'll sleep on my back.
Sir, we're really going to do that?
You asked me and I'm telling you, I sleep on my back. I have sisters. I have a mama. I don't do that. Them people write whatever they
They're
write.
making this up on you? That's terrible of them to do
If
that.
you look at my cases report, ma'am, I don't have any cases on none of that. I don't have any time. I'm not on no restriction on none of that.
Okay.
Up in the county.
You were off parole, the way I do the math, less than a
I was on
year.
parole.
So you did your whole 8 years?
Yes, ma'am.
The judge asks him a final question. What did you do in prison that makes you think you would survive 8 full years? The answer comes quickly. Tattooing, contraband, not following rules, even while already incarcerated. At that point, the judge makes her ruling. She finds that Mr. Lewis entered his guilty plea freely and voluntarily. She finds sufficient evidence to support the charge. Denzel Lewis is found guilty of unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon. Sentence: 6-year sin, the Institutional Division off the Texas Department of Criminal Justice.
You will receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. I'm handing you the trial court certification that shows this was an agreement that I followed, and so you've waived your right to appeal, and you're lucky that this was the agreement. Mr. Smith was generous. The fact is, you could have been enhanced to a second-degree felony because of your history, and you're lucky you weren't. I have also handed you a written admonishment regarding your ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition. Obviously, you know this, but I'm required to read this to you. Because of the judgment entered against you, you're ineligible under Texas law to possess a firearm or ammunition. Possession of a firearm or ammunition could lead to charges against you. Firearm is a legal term, and you should read the written admonishment I provide you to see what devices qualify as a firearm. If you have questions about the laws that make you ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, or about how long it lasts, you can talk to Ms. Holmes. You can go with the bailiff.
This was never just about a gun. It was about conduct, discipline, and respect for the law. The court listened, the record spoke, and the sentence followed. In this courtroom, patterns matter, and eventually they catch up with you.